Mr. Speaker, segregation provides a disciplinary tool, an administrative tool that both keeps those that are incarcerated protected, but also protects the frontline workers. Mr. Speaker, isn't that what we're here to do? Is protect society and those that have been charged with protecting society, keeping them safe, both physically and mentally. Through the course of my work in building C211 and then getting it passed in June of this year, I worked closely with the Correctional Service. You know, Mr. Speaker, very often the guards and our correctional officers are not seen as first responders, yet they perform those duties every day. They are seeing the worst of society at the very worst. They have to provide medical and life-saving treatment almost on a daily basis. And they also have to guard these individuals, and their safety is always at risk. Imagine being a guard in charge of a unit, and there's 40 of our society's worst criminals, and you are one guard. The president of the Correctional Services Canada, or the Union of Correctional Services Canada, recently said that in his centre, in the course of the last 12 months, there have been 100 violent incidences against his officers, 100. Now, we also learned that this government is approving a needle exchange program where the guards are to give the inmates needles and spoons to cook the drugs, to go back to their cells. Unbelievably. And you know what, Mr. Speaker? There is no onus. The prisoners, when they come up for parole, they are not required to report that they've been using in prison. So yes, Mr. Speaker, we do agree that we should have full-body scanners in there, not only for the prisoners, not only for their guests, but also for the guards. I believe that would make everyone safe. How unbelievable is it that we are now going to give needles and cooking spoons, and I don't mean cooking soup or ladles, cooking spoons for drugs, to use drugs, and allow them to go back to the cells and expect a guard to go in to either do some form of administrative management, some form of security search, not knowing whether there's a needle there with some form of bodily fluid. Mr. Speaker, when the union heard about C-83, they sent letters to this minister outlining their concerns. Mr. Speaker, they were worried about the segregation, that they emphasized to the minister the importance of this tool for correctional services or correctional officers. They brought up the concern over the prison needle exchange. They suggested, you know, rather than doing that, why don't the minister focus on the resources to treat inmates with infectious diseases instead. They came at this in a reasonable way and they offered solutions, yet they were not listened to. They were poo-pooed. As a matter of fact, the minister thanked him for the time and then went forward in crafting this bill. Mr. Speaker, we are against the bill as a whole. We're not against certain elements of it, and I would urge this government and this minister to reconsider C-83.
Questions and comments?